out. It's the last chance for some of these athletes to get that qualification, and it's a bit nerve-wracking.
We saw Charlie Dobson, who's just disappearing out the left of the shoulder, have a bit of bumping and barging yesterday in the men's 4x4. Sam Lump, the debutant, who ran well yesterday as well for Great Britain in the mixed 4x4. And there is one of the Chinese team practicing that will be carrying the hopes of this big crowd in Guangzhou. Bigger crowd than last night already. I think the weather and the fact it's Sundays probably had something to do with that as well.
Yeah, we've got about 15,000 in the house tonight, and the atmosphere last night was really special, and we're going to be expecting exactly the same tonight here in Guangzhou for the World Athletics World Relays 2025.
Beautiful evening here in Guangzhou. Welcome to the coverage of day 2 here at the World Athletics Relays. Let's meet the teams then from the outside. Australia have Olivia Dodds on the first leg, as I mentioned a moment ago. This is the same team that ran in this event yesterday. Carla Bull will run the second leg. She'll be handing on to Connor Bond in that crucial woman-to-man changeover. Legs 2 to 3, and Josiah John.
Really great for her to get some silverware for McCreath as well. Jamaica, they didn't necessarily have the strongest day here at the World Athletics World Relays yesterday. They didn't really get going in some of the events, and so for them to start off day 2 with a silver medal, it's gonna boost some confidence for them.
Yeah, they only qualified their women's 4x1 team through to Tokyo yesterday. Jamaica, that was a disappointing day. Disappointing day. Great Britain, one of the teams to qualify 4 teams through yesterday. Canada, they got 3 teams through to Tokyo yesterday, both of the 4x1s. So I guess it shouldn't be a surprise that their mixed 4x1 have also come out on top as well. And they become the inaugural champions. In case you're thinking, well, where are the USA? Well, yesterday their batting change went wrong from legs 2 to 3, and that is why they were not in this World Athletics Relays final. There was a B final which took place to give the opportunity for some of the teams to run a second race, if you like. That was staged unofficially before we came on the air, and the USA did get the baton round successfully in that one. But Canada celebrating, and the first athletes to have the World Athletics Relays gold medals around their neck here in Guangzhou. And
don't they look nice indeed? Well, that was the mixed 4x100 meter final, and we move on to the mixed 4x400 meter final. But let's have a look at those legs, shall we? Just how fast were they? Well, Australia had the fastest first leg. There we go. Just reordering that overall time split. These, of course, are interesting because actually they don't all run the same distance necessarily. So actually the 4x1 splits, and wait till you see the comparison on leg 4 coming up between Canada and Jamaica, by the way. Look at that, just 3/100ths of a second between those efforts. So they take the baton at different points in the changeover zone. So actually 4x1 splits, while they're interesting, don't tell us quite as much sometimes as 4x4 splits. Yeah, well, here we go then. Mixed 4x400 meters in the outside lane. It is China in lane 9. Liang, Mo, Zhang and Liu will run for them. There we go. There they are waiting in the pen. In lane 8, we have Spain. They are the favourites for this one, led out by David Garcia, followed by Aveles, Garcia and Ovaz. Lane 7, Germany, the other favourites for this one. Sanders will lead them out, followed by Martin, then Agiekum, and brought home by Lackum. Switzerland in lane 6, Petrucciani will lead them out, followed by Burnley, Spitz, and Farr. Next, we have Jamaica. Brown will lead them out, followed by Beckford, then Kennedy, and then McGregor. Jamaica, here we go then. What are they made of? And Brazil then. Soares Lima will lead them out, followed by Barbosa, Mora, and Cassia Ferreira. So, your favourites in this one, we're looking at lane 8 Spain, lane 7 Germany, and of course you can never discount Jamaica, who are running in lane 5. This is heat 1 of 2 here of qualifying round 2 of the mixed 4x400 meters. the first 3 here qualify for places at the World Championships in Tokyo. You can see the graphic there, right-hand side of your screen. This is what it means. If they mess up here, they will not be going to the World Champs. So this means a lot. Jamaica, Germany, and Spain all expect and want to be there. So let's see how this one plays out. And just wait for the first leg. Spain followed by Germany, and in 4th place, that is Jamaica. Beckford of Jamaica. Is she going to come around the inside or the outside? As Mo, she just starts to falter there as a Spanish athlete overtakes. Oh my goodness, it's so close going into this 3rd leg, but it's going to be Germany who just about take the lead.
We move back onto a male leg, and Emil Adjikum has the baton, but China sneaking up the inside, and the crowd go wild as Zhang Qiming takes the baton for them. But Germany settle down back into the lead with Emil Adjikum from China. Spain in 3rd position with Samuel Garcia, vastly experienced runner, and Jamaica with Delano Kennedy down the back straight. Those 4 are away at the moment. 3 automatic places in the World Championships in Tokyo. And the 4 leading group are away from the rest at the moment. China, you understand the fact they go out a little bit hard, roared on by this crowd, but it's Germany from Spain, China, and now Jamaica finishing strongly. Germany have Jana Lackner coming on the final leg. Bianca Herbas for Spain, and Jamaica have Renisha McGregor, very experienced. On to the final leg we go.
And here we go. It is the women who bring this home, and listen to that roar. It is Germany, Lackner for Germany out in front. Herbas for Spain in 2nd. They're having an exceptional meet so far. Jamaica in 3rd, and look at Li from China, absolutely storming. The ribbons in her hair flowing behind. The sound of the crowd is spurring her on, and she's going a superhuman effort past Jamaica. 3 qualify for World Championships in Tokyo. Who's it going to be? Germany doesn't lead. Spain overtaken. Herbas down the home straight. A China, but they will both be going to the Tokyo World Champs later this year, and Jamaica miss out in 4th place. What a start, and look at what it means to the Spanish team. They are having the meet of their lives. National record set yesterday, winning already tonight. Look at that confirmation. China are going to the World Champs.
Well, it was loud enough when they got introduced on the start line, but the roofs that we do have on parts of the stadium here were creaking on their foundations as China came down the home straight there. Brooks for 3rd place. They've run another national record. Spain have run a national record again. As you say, Jess, what a championships they are having. Spain had a great day yesterday, qualifying a couple of teams through and getting through to the mixed final as well. But Jamaica, mixed 4x4, it will not be here for them. Remember, there are 2 places available in every single event in terms of the world top list. So that's basically the standings across the year, and that will be decided at the end of August. So there are still a chance, but that is leaving it really to the gods and hoping that you can put things together later on in the year. But China, well, it's the perfect start from a home point of view to this evening.
Yeah, they really set this stadium alight. I mean, they were running out of their skins there. Look at this from Mo. It really was exceptional. And Spain, I mean, they're having such an outstanding championships. This is the first exchange. A lot easier than a 4x1 exchange, I must say. Germany there just trying to barge out the way of Garcia from Spain, but China on the inside line, arms pumping, and Jamaica, they just didn't have enough in the tank. We look at this was the final exchange. The women bring it home in the mixed 4x4. Germany were out in front, but they couldn't maintain that lead. I'd love to see a photo finish between Spain and Germany. Our screen saying that Germany just took it, but it was mighty close. But it doesn't really matter because they're both going to the World Champs in Tokyo. And that's what really matters here. And it matters a lot to China. They are hosting the World Champs in 2027 in Beijing. And so to have exceptional performances here really bolsters athletics. And look at the determination, the grimace, the ecstasy on the faces of these athletes. Herbas, I mean, they are just running on fumes. My goodness, I would love to be a Spanish athlete tonight.
Well, if that's fumes, I'd like some of those fumes, because she's had a wide smile across her face. In the background, you could see Liu, imagine carrying the weight of the nation, a nation as big as China. You can see the the relief here on the face of the Chinese athletes. So that's heat 1 done. There is another one to come. There are 2 heats of every single one of these round 2 World Championship qualifying events, and a second chance for these athletes to get themselves through. And those who got through yesterday, the World Athletics Relays final, they're up for $40,000 in prize money, as well as seedings for the lanes as well. Spain national record confirmation for them, and that is 3 teams qualified for Tokyo for them. The women's 4x1, the women's 4x4, and the mixed 4x4 for Spain are all through. So 3 out of 5 teams. Nobody's got a clean sweep of 5 out of 5 yet through to Tokyo. China now have 2. Their men's 4x4 yesterday, joined by the mixed 4x4 today. And Germany, they now have 4 of their 5 teams qualified for Tokyo as their mixed 4x4 joined both 4x1s and the women's 4x4 from yesterday. So the crowd at the moment engaged by the Chinese team, speaking on the PA system here in the stadium. As you can see, some good numbers inside the stadium, which holds 60,000, by the way. It is a spectacular arena, the Chane Stadium. The bright lights of Guangzhou, which we're very, very thankful to have better weather this evening. Not that it's hugely impacted competition last night. It was a little bit difficult for the women's 4x4 athletes who were stood out in some driving rain, but everybody else, apart from wet track, they had reasonably good conditions. A little bit humid. How good does the Canton Tower look there, Jess, in the background, multicolored?
Oh, it's beautiful. And the view from it, I mean, you can even see the stadium. And I have seen the branding tonight is looking absolutely top notch. The Canton Tower is an icon of Guangzhou. And I know that even some of the teams went up it today to have a good old look. Oh, there it is, multicolored. Here we go. I mean, it is a stunning skyline here in Guangzhou. I've never been in a stadium quite like it. The air is still, it is perfect sprinting conditions, if not a little bit warm.
That's 600 meters tall, that Canton Tower, by the way. It wouldn't be for me, I've got to say. I think my legs would be gone a long way in the early floors going up the lift up there to the Canton Tower. But anyway, it is one of the world's biggest skyscrapers. Here we are, though, back in the stadium where we're standing by for heat 2 of the mixed 4x400 meters. Again, 3 places up for grabs here. And we start on the outside, first of all, with India, who only have 1 member of their team. That's Rupal, who ran yesterday. They changed the other 3. Now you can see, and a slightly new addition this year, you can see the athletes lining up in their individual team pens rather than they used to line them up leg by leg, rather. So the second leg runners would all go in 1 pen, third leg in another, and fourth in another. Bit of team camaraderie as we see Canada, who are running exactly the same team as yesterday, with Cole, Marsh, George, and Proctor. Italy have made some changes, as we might have expected. The European silver medalists, but they ran with a what you'd call an understrength team yesterday. Only Troiani there at the front retained from that team. They brought in the experience of the likes of Scotty, Achetti, and Mangione. Botswana, they have a couple of similarities from yesterday on the first 2 legs. Monica Tipa and Rante retain their places, but changes on legs 3 and 4 for the Botswanans, who ran very well. They're the African Championship bronze medalists, by the way. France were 4th in the World Championships. They're not messing around. They've changed the entire team. Mohamed Kunta on the first leg, Peltier on the second, then Andon and Louise Maraval on the anchor. Sri Lanka, this is their only event. They didn't finish yesterday, didn't get the baton round in the mixed 4x4. Kumaraga, Ramanayaka, Rajakaruna, and Fernando are their quartet. And finally on the inside, the only Ugandan quartet who are here in Guangzhou. They have Chanwego, Banura, Adoli, and Shida. So standing by then for heat 2 of the mixed 4x400 meters relay, with 3 automatic places up for grabs in the World Championships. And there are no consolation prizes. You've got to get the job done here, or you're relying on the world rankings later in the year. Top 3 qualify. So we'll be expecting France and Italy with their bolstered teams. Also Botswana right in the centre in the light blue through Mongantipa have also gone blazing through this first 200 metres. The three bend stagger, of course, in these 4x400 metres. So the first bend is running lanes for the second leg runners as well. They'll break, as we just saw on the back straight. So Austin Cole went out hard. It's just paying the price a little bit for that in the home straight. Botswana have stuck to their work pretty well. France and Italy are coming through strongly at the end of this leg as well. And in fact, we're pretty even in the outside 5 lanes there. Look at that, almost a sync handover between all 5 there as we see the second leg runners heading out. And it's Fanny Peltier on the inside for France in lane 5, who just will get to the break with the stagger unwinding in her favour. Ranti for Botswana. Italy on the second leg have Virginia Troiani just battling with the Canadian Alyssa Marsh to get across. In fact, it's Gale on the second leg for them coming across as a position. Botswana and then Uganda and Sri Lanka at the back of the field at the moment. So this field is much more stretched out, coming down to this change onto the third leg. Italy leading from Canada. France are finishing the leg strongly as well as we move on to the third.
Oh, very close changeovers there. And look at Andon from France, out with intent, absolutely. Storming around their first bend. It is Italy 1, Canada 2, France 3. That is George for Canada, just storming around the outside of Assetti. Assetti, a very experienced runner, was part of the Olympic Italian team. Look at that, look at those arms go round this second bend. And George from Canada having absolutely astonishing run here, and France, Andon is not going to be left behind. Here they come, the 3 men charging down the home straight as we go to the final changeover. It might be Italy that comes out on, it's just tying up. Assetti, can he hold it as they pass over basically in unison?
Well, they know that there are 3 places up for grabs here, so there will be a bit of pride here. India aren't quite out of the mix yet in 4th position.
One of the world relays when you don't qualify, and all the pressure comes down to this. That just sums up what 400 metres can do for you. But yeah, Canada, they didn't win this one, but still very solid. Their mixed 4x400 metre team are going to the Tokyo World Champs. Italy, really strong from them, really led it from the off. And France, they held on to take that second place. Happy, happy, happy. And now it won't necessarily be these athletes exactly that go to the World Champs. It's a team that goes, and they have qualified the Italian 4x400 metre team for Tokyo. Hopefully some of these athletes will be in that. Scotty, he was part of the Italian Olympic Paris team in the men's 4x100. And oh look, he's not up for it. He's not up for it. He's had enough. Andon, though, brilliant leg from him, really was, to secure second place at a season's best.
Well, there is some, all of these heats, by the way, were redrawn midway through the afternoon. So the athletes all had their the lane lineups changed late in the day. And the Canadian team that have ended up running are 2 athletes different from the team that is on the computer in front of us here. Because we had Diana Proctor and Alyssa Marsh lined up as the Canadian athletes. And obviously, as you could see there, it was Lauren Gale and Zoe Shearer who ended up running. So apologies to the family of either of those athletes that we might have misidentified, but the list in front of us wasn't correct. Anyway, the job was done, and that is a good performance from those. And for Canada, that is 4 out of 5 teams now who are through to Tokyo, the mixed becoming their 4th. And for Italy, that is now 3 of their 5 teams through. And of course, the teams that aren't through have another opportunity here today. Who will be the first nation, I wonder, Jess, to keep a clean sweep of 5 out of 5, get all of their teams through to the World Championships? That, of course, is what they've come for.
Well, let's wait and see. But I mean, commentators curse. Well, maybe no one. We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see.
Well, there's a few who can't, obviously. There's a few who can't.
Yeah.
Jamaica can't. They can't get there soon now because they've had, well, they had a lot to do anyway. But you can just see that France, they brought in all of their big hitters there. Italy did the same. And the athletics relays is all about giving other athletes a chance. And, you know, there's a lot of 19, 20, 21-year-olds here who are going to be the next stars, either individually or in relays of the years to come. But these athletes here that you're seeing on screen, the Mangionis and the Maravals, have experienced Olympics, European Championships in their home nations in the space of those 2 at the front there, even last year. The Olympics in Paris, of course, and the Rome European Championships. But it's a great opportunity, but then that's where the tactical selections come in. How strong do we go on day 1? Do we try and get qualification done if you go strong and you don't get it done on day one, then you are under a bit of pressure because your senior athletes have got a race in their legs where maybe you might like to have saved them. So the relief when you do load your team in the end on the second day and prioritise certain events, and the Team Italy coaching staff, I imagine there are a small pocket of probably a handful of Italian fans in the arena, most of whom will be athletes and coaches and physios.
But we are really filling up here. I mean, we have got about 15,000 in tonight. And here we go. Here are those who have qualified so far for the mixed 4x400 meter relay. In fact, that's the final list that have qualified for the World Athletics Championships. Australia, Belgium, Canada, France, Germany, Great Britain, Ireland, Italy, Kenya, and Poland. Now, there is still a chance for the likes of Jamaica because the top teams, as per rankings, come August, there's 2 more spots up for grabs. And here are the other 4 teams: China, South Africa, Spain, and the United States. They're locked in, they're loaded, they're ready to go to Tokyo. And now we have the women's 4x400 meters. Heat 1 of 2 coming up, and it's the first 3 that qualify for Tokyo World Champs. Beautiful shots of Guangzhou. We're in the southeast of China, not that far from Hong Kong. We're on the Pearl River. A population of about 19 million here in Guangzhou. And here we go. This is how the women's 4x400 meter Heat 1 lines up. In lane 9, we have got Botswana. Kenake lead them out, followed by Morocco, Basel, and Chikani. Kenya, lane 8. Pretty strong so far this weekend. Mbagari will lead them out, followed by Chebet, Ayoko, and Okech. There they are waiting. Poland in lane 7 will be led out by Rona Kuczczepa, followed by Sweti Ersetic, Formella, and Bukvika. Looking serious there, Poland. Centering themselves before the 400s. And here we go, one of the Nielsen twins will lead them out. Lavia Nielsen for Great Britain, followed by Emily Newnham. Then twin sister Lena Nielsen, and finally Nicole Yergin, who had a sterling final leg yesterday in the mixed 4x4. Belgium, lane 5. They're the other favourites next to Great Britain. Van den Broek will lead them out, followed by Verveet, Laus, and Ponnet. Ponnet was featured at the Paris Olympics. Very prominent athlete for Belgium. And finally, Brazil on the inside. We have Tabassi leading them out, followed by Marino. Then Dos Santos, Barreto, and Lima will anchor the Brazilian team home. Well, Great Britain will be really wanting this one. They'll be bitterly disappointed with not having qualified yesterday. Can they do the job today? Let's wait and see. Belgium in lane 5 there, and Great Britain in lane 6. They're the favourites. They're the ones that expect to go through. But in relays, doesn't always work out like that. Brazil on the inside. And we are relay runner. She's running well down the Bassi. And it goes woman, man in the mix, but we are in the women's 4x400 now. So we're just going to go straight to a changeover, a stagger changeover here for this first one, and then the stagger unwinds, and it's Poland who will be coming in first in lane 7. Yeah, followed very closely by Great Britain as the second leg runners take off. Belgium, Great Britain, Poland, all very evenly matched here, but oh goodness me, look at that from Verveet from Belgium. Absolutely taking the lead here. Those cones signify the break of the stagger, and that is Belgium in 1, Great Britain in 2, Poland in 3, and Kenya in hot pursuit in 4th place. They're going to come round the bend here into the home straight. The other runners are just getting ready. Oh, a real tussle going on there. Great Britain on the outside coming through to take the lead. Sterling run there, absolutely, from Emily Newman She's going to try and hold that position, make sure she's in first place as they pass over. It's Great Britain 1. It's going to be Poland handing over in second and Belgium 3, but there's not much in it.
You have the Olympic bronze medalists, Great Britain and Northern Ireland, with Lena Nielsen with the baton in hand now. Poland, the world indoors silver medalist, Alexandra Formella in second position, and Belgium in third with Camille Laus, Belgium, the European bronze medalist. So all of these teams, 3 European teams, are away here with the 3 automatic places available in Tokyo. Brazil and Kenya just on the edge of the shot there, but Lena Nielsen, the Great Britain team captain, who handed the baton on to her twin sister yesterday in the qualification round 1. Poland, of course, with the strong teams, Svitiesic and Bukowiecka, the European champion, to come on the final leg as well. So they would have expected not to have to be here in this second qualifying round today. And Formella just starting to feel it in the home straight now, which will give the others behind a little bit of hope. But Lena Nielsen has run an excellent leg for Great Britain here, and they will hand over ahead of Belgium and Poland.
And it goes to Nicole Jürgen of Great Britain on the anchor leg. She ran expertly yesterday. Can she repeat it here now? They are the Olympic bronze medalists. They would have been disappointed with yesterday's performance. Can they get it in the bag today? But Jürgen is being absolutely chased down by Ponette of Belgium there. And Poland are not far behind. They streak it down the back straight. Jürgen, she can't quite see. Is she going to look behind her? And Brazil, they're in 5th place, with Kenya just overtaking into 4th. Remember, it's the first 3 that qualify for Tokyo. Great Britain, 120 meters to go as we come down the home straight. It is Nicole Jürgen in the lead. Panette is not going to let her have it all her own way. My goodness, Panette is coming up on her. Can Nicole Jürgen hold this? It's going to be so close, and Poland's coming through as well. Who's going to have it on the line? Is it going to be Great Britain? Oh, just about, I think. Goodness me, Great Britain take it. Belgium in second and Poland in third. Doesn't quite matter where they finish, except for bragging rights, because they are all going to Tokyo.
Nicole Jürgen looks about as cool as she did yesterday when she led the mixed team home to qualify. And Poland, as I mentioned, would not have wanted to have to come back and do this all again with the team that they had out. But Natalia Bukowiecka, the European champion, who thankfully has come back with some injury issues in the winter, to full fitness, bringing them home in that third position. And Belgium, as you say, getting over the line ahead of them as well.
Yeah, Belgium, they were 7th at the Olympics, so that is a really great run from them. They pushed Great Britain all the way. That was very strong indeed. And yeah, what a race. What an evening of activity we have got going on.
And that is Great Britain's full house, by the way. That is 5
ding, ding, ding.
out of 5 teams through. Women's 4x4 was the one that missed out yesterday, and they are through. So that is the full complement for Great Britain. No wonder they are smiling. For Poland, that is their 3rd team out of 5 that has qualified for Tokyo. And for Belgium, that is also now 3 for them as well. But a size of relief there. You definitely don't want to be the one team from your country that goes home without that place secured, do you?
No, and they were not looking that happy yesterday, I can tell you. We're going to get some slow-mos here of some of that action. But Great Britain, they did what they needed to do. They executed it expertly. And there we go. That is the first exchange there into Newnham. And it was very evenly run between Great Britain, Belgium and Poland all the way around, as we expected it to be, really. But these things, they don't always go to plan. Here we go. This was the second exchange onto the 3rd leg. The Nielsen twins absolutely doing a job here. Brilliant run from Laus there from Belgium. Really exceptional. She made up so much ground on that 3rd leg, on that final 20 meters or so. And here they are. This is the photo finish we want to look at. Jürgen just straining somewhat. Ponette looking pretty relaxed. And Poland just making up inch by inch. But yeah, I wouldn't call it comfortable, but it was definitely a Great Britain 1, Belgium 2 and Poland 3. They would have enjoyed that.
It certainly will. She just had to work that little bit harder, Nicole Jürgen, yesterday than she might have done. She wouldn't have known, of course. She will have used the big screen, which is in advance of the runners beyond the finish line as they're coming down the home straight. So they can use that as a wing mirror as well. So she'll have seen that 3 of them were away there and gone. And it was merely for the bragging rights, the seeding points, the world ranking points, all the things that can make an impact as the GB team see themselves on the big screen here. And that 3:24.46. There was a national record, by the way, further down the field for Kenya. In fact, I was going to say that there was a national record. And as I look down at the computer for the next time, it's now got disqualified. against Kenya. So we'll try and work out why. You don't get many disqualifications in a 4x4. But there's obviously some kind of issue with potentially the changeover order there. That's one of the usual falling points for teams when they start shuffling around in the takeover order. Anyway, we'll confirm any news on that, but Kenya at the moment showing as disqualified. That means that will nullify their national record that they had just set. And a couple of their athletes had run 2 legs yesterday as well there. Mercy Chebet was definitely one of them. That's the site in the Tiana Stadium here in Guangzhou. Home straight is pretty packed away to the left, as you can see. And they are waiting. They've already seen China book their 2nd spot in the World Championships. And they'll be getting ready to wave those Chinese flags as well, because we have China coming up in this heat. The 2nd of the heats, chasing 3 spots in the women's 4x400 meters. Welcome if you're joining us. Our coverage here from Guangzhou, as we see Sophie Becker of Ireland getting herself ready in a changed Irish team. They've, again, bolstered their team, having not qualified in the women's yesterday. They did qualify in the mixed. I'll give you that full lineup. You might see at the top of your picture there in lane 8. Lane 8 is empty. That is Jamaica, who, of course, had some injury and availability problems yesterday. So those Jamaican fans will have nothing to watch in this particular round in terms of their own team watching. They'll appreciate the talents of everybody else. But we saw a strange run from Jadine Williams and the Jamaican team yesterday. There were talk of some unavailabilities. A couple of their athletes hadn't made it here. And as a result of that, we have an empty lane here for Jamaica in the women's 4x400 meters. So let's meet the rest of the teams then. From the outside. Beautiful sight here at the Tiana Stadium. And here are your teams. Zambia going to be running in a bit of isolation, certainly for the first 500 meters or so. They're on the outside. They've got 3 of the team that ran yesterday, including Mingalishi, who will lead them off, Jobu Sapiso and Kalibwene. A new addition to their team on the 3rd leg. Jamaica then don't go in 8, so we move to lane 7, and Ireland. Sophie Becker on the opening leg and Rachel McCann on leg 3 are retained, but they've brought in Rashida Adeleke and Charlene Maudsley on legs 2 and 4. It's almost like bringing in the special team, joining Sophie Becker, who ran in the Olympics. Australia have Mia Gross on the 1st leg. They've only got 1 survivor from yesterday's team. That's Gemma Pollard on the 3rd leg. A shake-up elsewhere. Athletes ran in other events, but they are coming together, including Ellie Beer there. Their #1 individual 400-meter runner. Switzerland, they've made 1 change. They have Julia Niederberger again on the opening leg. Salome Husler, Karin Dish, and Anina Farr completing their quartet. Stand by, the crowd are already revving up. For China, who have such resources here, as you would expect, they've changed the entire team. A new 4 to run for them, try and chase the World Championship qualifying time. Their national record of 3:24 is going to put them in the mix here. Ireland on paper should be the strongest of these teams. Australia have looked good across the events so far. But anybody else, who's going to be in the mix for that 3rd spot? Of course, no Jamaica really does boost some of those teams who might have been contesting that 3rd spot. Top 3 qualify. Last chance for teams in the women's 4x400 meters. Mentioned yesterday, we actually found out she'd run with a stress fracture of the foot during the Olympic Games, but has often been a successful 1st leg runner for them. They've got a lot of open space ahead of them, and they have almost taken that empty lane stagger out of Zambia. Right on the outside, Australia have got Ireland as a target on their outside here, but it's Sophie Becker of Ireland who's out in the lead. Mia Gross of Australia just coming into picture there into the home straight, trying to stick to her tail, pretty even on the inside lanes between Switzerland and China as well. Australia just taking a stride or 2 out of Ireland as they come up towards this first changeover, and Rashida Adeleke stands by to take the baton pretty much hand in hand at the same time there between Ireland and Australia as they run the bend and will break at the entry position. They've got Rhoda and Jobu on this one. The crowd trying to roar China on because they know that 3 go through and Zambia are gettable. Adeleke, with 200 meters of her leg remaining, moves across and ahead of Ellie Beer of Australia, who haven't qualified, by the way, since 1999 for the World Championships in this event, but they're well placed at the moment in this World Championship qualification round 2. as Beer works hard to stay with Adeleke. It's been a good battle, as we predicted it would be, between those two all the way around. It's really hotting up behind. That's the battle between 4th and 5th at the moment, China and Switzerland, as Ireland take the lead with Rachel McCann.
McCann does have it, and there it goes, Zambia and China, and you can hear China absolutely chasing after Zambia, who is the top 3, but it is Ireland in the lead. McCann and Australia, it's Pollard chasing her down. Ireland would have been disappointed not to have qualified yesterday, so they will be absolutely gunning for this one. McCann down the back straight, and absolute drama going on behind. It is so close to third. China are just overtaking Zambia, and that's what that roar was. Oh my goodness, China move into third place. That is a World Champs Tokyo spot, but Switzerland, do not discount them. But here we go, at the front of the race, it's Ireland, McCann, but look at this acceleration here from Australia. Goodness me, Pollard pulling it out there in the last few meters, hands over to the final leg.
This could be a deafening 400 meters, with China moving up into a world qualifying spot at the moment in 3rd position. They're going to have challenges on behind by Switzerland and Zambia, but the crowd aren't even looking, the rest of the Chinese crowd, about what's happening up front between Australia and Ireland, because they are away and gone. Look at that gap. And China opening up a gap of 5 meters on Switzerland. Zambia's race is over, but it's Zukic and Maudsley who will battle this one out for the victory in this final heat. Their place in Tokyo is secure as Maudsley prepares to make her move. Lian for China, though, is fighting to hold off Switzerland. There's going to be an almighty roar coming down the home straight very shortly. It's Maudsley out front for Ireland, and Australia, Alana Jukic, confirming their places in Tokyo. But Lian now challenged by Far of Switzerland. Lian roared on in Guangzhou, but Far is ignoring the noise. And unfortunately for China, it's going to silence their hopes of making it in the women's 4x4. Ireland have won it, Australia in second, and it's Switzerland. You can nearly hear a pin drop as they cross the line ahead of China. What a valiant effort from them. They got people out of their seats, but Switzerland came to spoil the party and did so. Excellent runs from Ireland and Australia, the favourites successfully through, and Switzerland got themselves in a battle royale.
Yeah, brilliant final leg there for Charlie Maudsley. We were kind of lost in the back of the pack somewhat. Commiserations to China, because the roof, if there was one, would have been taken off of the stadium if they had made that spot. But job done for Ireland and Australia. Season's best all round here for every single team. We are early in the season, so we don't take too much stock in that. China are gutted, absolutely gutted. They'll be reliving that final leg, and she'll be asking herself, what more could she have done? Well, it was Switzerland who spoiled the party. Commiserations to the Chinese team. Absolutely gutted.
Of course, it's not completely over for them. There are 2 remaining spots that will be available to be contested for throughout the rest of the season. So the top 2 teams in the world lists at the end of the qualification period leading up to the championship in September, with those ahead of them, of course, already qualified, not being counted. So that the top 2 non-already qualified teams in that list will be offered places to go. So teams will be trying to post times, keeping an eye on what's happening elsewhere. Of course, there's very few meets where teams will run as a country. So you may see some hastily convened relay meets or relay races if teams suddenly find themselves slipping out of the 2 places. But Ireland don't need to worry about any of that. Ireland will be at the World Championships. They've got a healthy contingent. As ever, they have the Irish Travelling Supporters Club out here watching Seamus and several of his crew, who we bumped into yesterday, who make the trip to every major event. But certainly, we've already seen one China team qualify, and the fans here just got their money's worth for, well, 3 of the 4 legs, that's for sure. But very smooth job from Ireland. That is the kind of execution you'd expect from the class of runners that they had available there. Little side eye there from Ellie Beer as she saw Adeleke coming across to close her down. But that was a really good race as well, and that will, I think, give Ellie Beer some confidence, the way she was able to live with Adeleke, who never got more than a couple of meters ahead of her all the way around, as you can see here, right up towards the finish line of their particular leg.
Yeah, Adeleke 4th place in the Olympics. Exceptional runner, having another very good season so far.
We've just got the splits in, actually. Charlie Maudsley, 50.01 on the anchor leg for Ireland there, which is absolutely outstanding. Nobody breaking 50 seconds. There were also impressive splits. Adeleke, 50.3. Ellie Beer, 50.7 for Australia. Those are the only athletes to post splits in the 50s. But Charlie Maudsley, 50.01 on the back of a similarly good leg yesterday in the mixed 4x4 as well. Some of the some of the performances there individually and the key sum of the parts for all of those teams getting themselves through. So we still have the round 2 of the World Championship qualifying to come in both the men's and the women's 4x100 meters. Next up will be the men's 4x400 meters. And then, of course, we get into the closing events, which will be the 5 World Athletics Relays finals, where it's all glory, ranking points, cash and medals up for grabs. But 3 more events still to decide who takes the final spots in Tokyo to complete a full list of 14 qualifiers for the World Championships in each event here, making a total of 70 across the 2 days.
Brilliant run there from Far of Switzerland, closing her eyes as she nears and crosses that finish line. But jubilation for Switzerland, Ireland and Australia. Smiles from Maudsley there. Australia, job done as well. Australia brought a very large contingent to these championships. They're not too far, all things considered, for Australia. So they brought about 8 athletes, which is the max amount you can have in each of these races. 8 athletes you can choose from. You can mix and match throughout the weekend. There we go, Ireland, all smiles. They might have had a little bit of a sleepless night last night after not making it through super smoothly yesterday. But a season's best sees them get the job done. Happy customers. Tokyo ticket booked. And there we go, China looking somewhat dejected compared to the smiles and hugs of Ireland and Australia. Next up, we have the men's 4x400 meters.
Charlene Maudsley's always a smiley character. As we see Australia, that's 26 years of hurt for them, not qualifying for the World Championships in this particular event. But we are ready now for the men's 4x400 meters. As we confirm that list of qualifiers, that's the first page of those who have booked their tickets through to Tokyo this time around. Of course, we should add Japan, who will qualify as the host nation in all of these events as well. They automatically get a place. The United States got the job done yesterday as well.
And it's dark here in Guangzhou in southeastern China. That is the Canton Tower. Looking over this event as we head into the men's 4x400 meters, heat 1 of 2. In the outside lane, we've got Poland, led off by Shved, then Karolewski, Jashinsky, and Rashidinagak. Lane 8, we have Brazil, Lemes da Silva will have the first leg. Carvalho, Oliveira, and Lima follow him. Then we've got the Netherlands. Fifers, Omala, Schmidt, and Klein-Ikink. Netherlands will be wanting to qualify here. Brazil, Netherlands, and Jamaica are the favourites in this one. And you can't discount Italy in lane 6. Bianciardi, Benatti, Rossi, and Raimondi. Lane 5 then. Hasn't been Jamaica's night so far, but McDonald would lead them out. You can hear so much shouts around here. Francis, second leg, Barnes third, and Roden fourth. India. They don't have loads of teams here, but they have loads of passion. Kumar will lead out this Indian quartet, followed by experienced Chowdhury on the second leg. Then Tekanali, Saji, and finally Joseph. Zimbabwe towards the inside lane 3. Mawishi, Leaford, Taffa, and Hove. What can they do from the inside? And then neighbours, lane 2, inside lane, Ndawi, Suma, Mendy, and Diouf. 8 teams contest this men's 4x400 meters heat 1. The first 3 will qualify for those World Championship places in Tokyo this September. So the pressure is on. Who will cope with it best and book their ticket to Tokyo? The starters take their marks. Hands placed behind the white line. Baton at the ready. Look around, seeing what. But he's not going to do that. Lemes da Silva is going to come past him, having a really strong first 400 meters. Netherlands not far behind with FIFA's. This is a really great start for Brazil. Oh, it looks like he's tying up slightly as we come into the staggered exchange here. It will be pretty even, but Brazil and the Netherlands handing over first. So there we go. Right, second leg of this men's 4x400 meters. Brazil came third in their heat. Netherlands came fourth in their heat as Amala takes the baton for them and has a sterling first 100 meters round the bend. The cones that we come up to means that the stagger has broken and we will all be going in. So, oh my goodness, I was so distracted by the first two. I don't know who made it into third. I think it's Jamaica. Yeah, confirmation Jamaica. They're both. What a race. What drama. What sport here at the World Athletics Relays. Woo.
Well, most of the teams were never out of that race at any point, really. A couple of them in the end got straggled off the back, but Senegal were chasing hard, trying to reattach themselves to the main group. Italy just got too far behind, and their runners in the second half of the race weren't able, Rossi and Raimondi, to make up for it. And Italy, of course, they used a couple of their stronger male runners in the mixed event to get through in that, which weakened their men's 4x4 team. So that is the kind of strategic choices that teams have had to make. And Italy earlier on confirming their place in the mixed 4x4 with the stronger team, but have missed out in the men's 4x4. But Brazil, they are the South American champions, as I mentioned, and running the same team that won that South American title. A tried and tested quartet. And Netherlands, Jonas Pfeiffer's ran excellently yesterday as well on the final leg for them. He ran the opening leg today in 45.4. And the Brazilian women's team standing there enjoying what they're seeing for their men's team.
Yeah, brilliant run from there. It's just going to take a call. He's going to say, calm down. It was all right. That's how Brazil were like, nah, there was nothing to worry about, guys. We had this the whole time. Didn't look quite that way, Brazil. But here we go. We're going to get some footage there. Look, even at the first exchange, it was close. It was close. Here we go. This is where the stagger broke on the second leg. And just look at that tussle behind between Zimbabwe and Senegal. It was all to play for. I absolutely loved that race. And Netherlands had a real lead here. What happened? What happened?
Senegal, it's their only team here. They hadn't qualified for 26 years in this either. So the Senegalese fans watching will have got a bit excited coming in this stage of the race anyway. We're on the earlier legs here. Some of the splits, by the way, as we're seeing these replays. Oliveira 44.8 on the third leg for Brazil. Amala ran 44.9 on the second leg for Netherlands. The best of the Jamaicans was Zandri and Barnes, 44.78. And the Italians, well, they just had too much to do. There was a 44.9 clocking from Lorenzo Benatti on the second leg for them. But a really good team performance from the Netherlands. They all split in the 44s and the low 45s. So that's a really consistent contribution across all four legs for them, even though Klein Icking at the end of the line, at the end of the day, couldn't quite hold off the attentions of Mateus Lima, who is very proficient over the barriers and proving himself as well. Equally as adept at running when there are no barriers in his way.
We've got one more heat coming up in this men's 4x400 meters until we know who will be going to Tokyo, and he will be finalizing that list. But for the South American champions, that is job done, seat secured.
And these are really competitive. You see the number of teams that were involved in the shake-up there. There's a lot of teams in these round twos. There are, what have we got here, with two heats of 8. Looking at the 4x1s that are coming up, there's one heat of the women's 4x1 that's got 4 teams in it, and 3 of them will qualify. So from that point of view, there's going to be one unlucky loser when we get to that very shortly. But the athletes just setting their blocks at the bottom of your screen for this heat number 2. And in this one, we have the might of the United States, who couldn't yesterday with an inexperienced quartet hold off the attentions of France or Kenya, who qualified ahead of them. Oh, happy days for Brazil. Look, everybody's happy in Team Brazil. It's a long flight home, so at least they're going to fly home with a smile on their face.
And that is a season's best there, 301.14. They will be happy with that. Look at the smiles on those faces as the crowd quiets for
here we see some of the splits, Jess, and these do mean a little bit more. They have a little bit more gravitas, if you like, in the 4x4. So the European silver medalist Maximilian Schwed, the fastest on that first leg, that impressive sub-45 from Eugene Amala, was the best of the second legs for the Netherlands. Zandri and Barnes with 44.78 on that third leg. And the best of the fourth legs was from Dziecieniak of Poland, 44.44, but it wasn't enough in the end to propel them into one of those crucial top 3 positions. Guangzhou by night, the Tianhe Stadium about to be lit up by the performances of these athletes. Australia drawn on the outside of the second of these heats, with Cooper Sherman to open them up. Reese Holder ran an absolute flyer yesterday in the 43s. Aidan Murphy and Tom Reynolds complete their quartet. Zambia go in lane 8 with Sitali Kikeni, handing on to Kennedy Luchembe, David Malenga and Patrick Niambe. Tried and tested quartet for Zimbabwe. There was plenty of incident involving this man yesterday for Qatar. Amar Yaya Ibrahim, who you might remember got his elbows out with Alexander Dome and with Charlie Dobson, ended up hurting himself and not qualifying. So Qatar find themselves in this. The United States of America have bolstered their team. Only Kennedy Leitner ran in yesterday's attempt. Elijah Godwin ran in the mixed race yesterday. Justin Robinson comes in and Caleb McRae completes their lineup as well. The Olympic champions in this event. Germany, they field the same team that ran yesterday. Klein, Rumpf, Krapper and Dammerman. They've had a few teams qualify already here, Germany. As we see Spain, who also, their women's teams have had a great weekend so far. And their team for this one has 3 of the same athletes. The one change for them sees Urta step down as Mexico, their only team here in Guangzhou, go in lane 3. Last qualified for the World Championships in 2001. And then on the inside, we have Ireland. You might remember the pictures yesterday of Conor Kelly absolutely flat out on the floor with lactic filled legs after he ran and helped the Irish mixed 4x4 team to qualify. Chris O'Donnell and Jack Raftery both ran yesterday in this event. The other 2 team athletes, Conor Kelly and Killian Green, come in as Ireland, who last qualified in 2015. There is Seamus, I mentioned him at the front with the grey hair there, the Irish Supporters Club representative. So here we go then. First 3, remember, qualify. This has been a wide open event. There were 4 teams in the final that only qualified in the men's 4x4. Botswana, China, Kenya and Portugal yesterday. This was their only qualification through to the final later. And that meant that all of these teams had to come back and try again. USA don't find themselves with many second round qualification heats, but Elijah Godwin has the baton for them to try and lead them into the top 3. So the Olympic champion Emo Campos, and as we move towards the back, Ireland at the back of the field at the moment, just behind Zambia. So Holder has run another strong leg. 2 back-to-back excellent performances from Holder of Australia. Robinson closing down to the handover. Qatar in 3rd.
And it's very close between Australia and USA as we go into this 3rd leg of 4. Look, USA, Leitner trying to take the inside lane of Australia as Murphy, and he's had his own way. He's nabbed that front spot as they go down the back straight. I think Australia will just sit on his shoulder for now. Then it is Spain in 3rd, Qatar in 4th, Mexico in 5th. It is Leitner for the USA who lead. Osmond coming past Fernandez there as well. Oh, look at this from Murphy of Australia to take the lead as we go into the final leg of this men's 4x400 metres.
What a well-judged leg from Aidan Murphy of Australia, who really gives them the momentum over the USA. This would be a big upset if they can hold this over this remaining 400 metres. Qatar have got a little bit of clear space in 4th position. They've got World Championship medalist Abdurrahman Samba with the baton in hand for them. Can Spain there possibly close them down in 4th position with Julio Arenas, and the others are chasing? It would appear a lost cause, but the move made by Caleb McRae of the USA down themselves as well. And Qatar have only ever qualified twice in their history. They look well booked as well, but the USA here, they don't like
run from Qatar there to make it comfortably into that 3rd place ahead of Spain. The men's Spain team will not be happy with that. The women's are having an absolute storm, but look at what it means to Qatar. They came here to qualify, and qualify they did. But United States with a world leading time there, 2:58.68. Australia also breaking that 3-minute barrier at 2:59.73, and Qatar at 3 minutes 0.29. But wow, USA, they showed us what they were made of here. They don't like not qualifying first time, so they stamped their authority on the men's 4x400 meters by getting a world lead, and that is where we leave the men's 4x400 meters until Tokyo.
National record for Qatar. I mean, look at the times, 2:58 there from the USA. And we're not seeing world record times here, of course, but anything sub 3 minutes is a really good run from a not full strength quartet. But the likes of Justin Robinson coming in there, Elijah Goldman has a world gold medal indoors. Qatar's national record, it's the first time they've qualified. They qualified, of course, for Doha in 2019 as the host nation. The only previous qualification before that was in 1991. But what a great job from Australia, who continue. They came here with, as you said earlier, Jess, with some confidence. First time they've ever sent a team in at every event to the World Relays. And that quartet for Australia, that's a super performance. Reese Holder, again, 44.16 today to follow up with a 43.44 yesterday, as we see him here bringing it home. Justin Robinson, 44.21. Caleb McRae on the anchor for the US, 43.86. That's an outstanding performance with lots of 44-second clockings on various legs. The best of the Irish athletes, for those watching on from Ireland, was Jack Raftery on the final leg with 45.88. But the USA just bolstering like we've seen many teams do. But I've mentioned the word quite a lot this evening, bolstering their team. And the result was that they are safely through to Tokyo. And that completes the set for them as well, by the way, matching the achievements of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, who achieved 5 out of 5 earlier on. All 5 US teams are now through to the World Championships.
Yeah, and we have 6 events here at the World Athletics Relays Guangzhou. We've had the mixed 4x1, we've had the mixed 4x4, we've had the women's 4x4, and that is the end of the men's 4x4. We now move on to the women's 4x1, and this is where some drama will undoubtedly unfold, as the baton exchange is where it gets spicy. It certainly does. We will be having 2 heats coming up, and this is the final chance for these athletes to qualify for the World Championships in Tokyo later this year. And then after that, we'll be moving on to the finals here of the World Relays of each of those events which qualify. Look what it means to Qatar to secure that spot on a national record. Real applause to them. Absolutely outstanding. 400 meters, you wouldn't catch me doing it, that's for sure. The USA team, cool as you like. They knew they had it under control. They knew it.
It's a good mark of that time as well for other teams to try and qualify, to try and surpass over the course of the rest of the year. Confirmation then of the qualifiers through to Tokyo from this weekend here in Guangzhou. Additions to that list from that particular heat that we just saw there. Australia at the top of that list. And as we move on to the second page, Qatar and United States booking their places in Japan.
Next up, we have them on the track already. It is the women's 4x100 meters. Look at that sensational shot from the sky of the Tianyi Stadium here in Guangzhou, China. And this is how the 5 teams line up for heat 1 of 2, the women's 4x1. In the outside lane, lane 8, Chile, Hernandez, Montt, Jimenez, and Ramirez. There they are. Lane 7, it's France. Rimlinger will lead them out, followed by Richard, Paraso, and Gallet. An experienced team there. They were 4th in the Olympics in Paris. What can they do here? Côte d'Ivoire in lane 6, led out by Dennis, followed by Kone, Deji, and Clark. Italy will be the other favourites, coming on your screen shortly. They were 4th in their heat, but what can they do here? Fontana would lead them out, followed by Kadari, Siragusa, and Pavas. Looking serious. Inside lane, Portugal. Men's team did well yesterday, but Andrade will lead them out. Bazola, Gandula, and Silva. That is the Portuguese team. That is how we line up for the women's 4x100 meters here. It is the top 3 that qualify. So only 2 of these teams will be missing out going to Tokyo. But in a 4x100 meter relay, anything can happen with the baton. So the favourites being France in lane 7, And Italy in lane 5 mean absolutely nothing if they can't get that baton around safely. Chile 8, France 7, Ivory Coast 6, Italy 5, Portugal 4. Oh, starter maybe not happy. Wait and see what's going on there. We don't think it was a penalty, but we will wait and see. Maybe some noise. We will find out shortly, and we'll be getting underway. Very happy fans in the audience here. The starter with his gun. Yep, green card shown, which means no athlete was at fault. We go again. Nothing like an almost full start for a bit of a tension builder. Here we go again. Deep breath out from Fontana, who will lead out the Italian quartet. Rimlinger for France, experienced. Lane 5, Italy. Lane 7, France. Keep your eyes on them. France dipping for the line, has it over Italy. They'll be happy with that.
First time for Chile, first time ever in the World Championships in the 4x100 meters, which is why they were celebrating so wildly. They have one world-class 400-meter runner on the women's side, Martina Vale, who is the daughter of the former athlete and now very high up at World Athletics, Ximena Restrepo. And Chile and France celebrating. The roar here in the arena, you might be here behind us, is because the qualification confirmation has just gone up on screen. Look at the Cote d'Ivoire athlete top left there, just walking away to start the inquest. But those changes, as you see there, that's the line coming up now, which is where they have to change within. You can see they're all well inside that, just in case you've been watching and wondering where that zone is. There's lots of markings on the track, but it's that sort of gold-yellow coloured line as they enter the home straight that is the exit to the changeover box. And as you say, Jess, that's where the takeovers have to be executed. Got to say, we haven't seen too many disqualifications for takeovers outside the box. We've seen a few battens go awry. Touch wood, we haven't had any false starts at all yet from anybody.
Don't
Just
say that.
Cursed. I mean, I've literally just cursed the next race, haven't I? But
Chris,
so
you know better than that.
Bad news for all the athletes lining up in race 2 now for the women's 4x1. So if you're watching on from any of the nations taking part in this next one, look at Chile. They're absolutely nice. They're trying to find the camera. So it's round to your left. Turn this way.
Turn around. But they'll dance. Anyway, has she got a phone attached there? She didn't run with that, did she?
I think she had a microphone attached to her for a TV interview maybe there. You don't run with a phone clipped on your bottoms. Those spectacular sights of Guangzhou by night here Sunday evening, here in southern China, on the Pearl River, across those buildings and residential areas and further sprawling, with the Canton Tower shining bright. In the middle of it all is the Tianhe Stadium, and here are the athletes for the second. There's only 4 teams in this, and 3 of them will qualify. Poland have got exactly the same team that they ran yesterday, with Piotrowska leading them off. Niemczyk, Stefanovic, and Simanowskaya. China. I mentioned not many disqualifications. Well, China were disqualified yesterday because they dropped the baton. They tried to pick it up and finish, but they didn't do so within the rules. They didn't go back to where they dropped it from correctly. So they find themselves in this second race today. And the fans of all ages are giving them a huge roar. Here at Switzerland, who are running exactly the same team as yesterday. They didn't get the baton round at yesterday either. Gutschmidt, Burgi, Pointe and Von Kamp. So there's 2 out of these 4 teams that didn't get the baton round yesterday. And Australia, meanwhile, were the fastest team that didn't qualify yesterday. And as a result, they run the same quartet of Georgia Harris, Brie Rizzo, formerly Brie Masters, Christy Edwards, and Tubella Philp on the final leg. Australia would be the favourites for this, clearly. But there are 3 places up for grabs. There are 4 teams. It's going to be heartbreak for one. And a trip 3,000 kilometres to the east of here to Tokyo for the 3 others. Australia and Poland on the outside lanes. You would, if you were having to stake some money on it, on paper would be the 2 that you would have in the top 2 positions. But China, with this crowd, could be inspired. last chances in the women's 4x100 meters. Well, a bit like the Polish women's 4x400 meters, their 4x1 team will probably have a point to prove here. They've gone out relatively modestly on the outside, with China roared on by the home crowd, getting things moving down the back straight. It's China who just about have the advantage at the moment through that. Will unwind in their favour as Christy Edwards has the baton around the final curve, but China are right in the mix as well. Poland have got some work to do here. Australia, their final change, that's going to be close. It went badly for Australia, but Guangzhou roars China. It's China heading for Tokyo. Feel the goosebumps all the way down your arms and down your legs as the best part of 25,000 people here celebrate China qualifying in the 4x1. Switzerland take the second place, Poland third, and once again it all comes back to execution, and Australia, the fastest non-qualifiers, are the only team from that heat who don't make the World Championships.
Drama, drama, drama. That is what the relays deliver, and that is why we love it, and that is why the Chinese fans here love it too. Commiserations in the last qualification section for the female Chinese athletes, but not now. Season's best for every single one of those. And wow, it did deliver, didn't it?
Not only a qualification, but the beauty of the victory as well for China, who we've got to credit them, have come out in their numbers this evening. Chen ran the first leg for them, got them off to a great start, and they never looked back from there. Switzerland have run a blinder as well to hold off Poland in that second place. They're both going to Tokyo ultimately, but Switzerland to finish ahead of Poland is an excellent performance from them as well. Poland not quite as strong in 4x1s as they are in 4x4s, but Australia, I'm just desperate to look back at that replay, because the final changeover for them between Christy Edwards and Tuba Phillip, Brie Rizzo had run a 9.98 back straight for them. An absolutely terrific second half of the race. A sub 10-second relay leg for a female athlete is absolutely outstanding, as Rizzo gets the baton here down the back straight. So it's not this change for Australia, it's the inside with the green and gold, because the stagger should be unwinding in their favour. The athlete for the final leg, Tuba Phillip, takes off. I hope we're going to see it there, not going to disappear out of the shot. There's the hand as we see China get it right. We're going to see Australia get it wrong in a second. The baton is just not coming. And Phillip here is probably starting to think, where is it? Where is it? She starts to turn, has to slam on the brakes. Edwards runs in the back of her. And in the end, well, it was just a disaster. She's nearly pushed her over as well.
Yeah, that is just timing gone all wrong. Whether Phillip set off slightly too fast, or whether Edwards just wasn't running fast enough in those final few meters. It just, that's going to give them nightmares, isn't it? Absolutely gutting to see Phil just stuttering there, what might have been. But gee, look at that, down the back, home straight. She absolutely smashed that out of the park. Oh, they deserved that. Textbook execution from the Chinese. Brilliant, brilliant race.
And that's a comfortable winning margin as well in a 4x1. Look at that. A 0.3 of a second victory margin for China, and it just shows you that the form book counts for absolutely nothing in a relay, because the two favourite teams in that ended up finishing 3rd and 4th out of 4.
Yeah, and that's why we love the relays. Some of the slower teams, for example, can make up for speed in execution of the baton exchange.
And Australia have actually been disqualified on the computer, so that 9.98 split from Brie Rizzo unfortunately counts for nothing, but an official disqualification for Australia for a baton infringement there. But China celebrating, and they still have, by the way, their men's 4x100 meters team, 4x400 meters team to come in our final event of the evening in the final, and that would really see the Australia team in the background there. Switzerland, credit to them, they're not at their strongest, by the way. They don't have Kambunji here. Either Kambunji would be a valuable asset to them, either Mujinga or Ditaji. They don't have Isla Del Ponte either, so it's not their strongest team. But to get through to the World Championships, where presumably those athletes will be available to them, they have won a World Championship medal previously. They were disqualified in Paris in the Olympics, Switzerland, so that's a good bounce back for them in relay action as we mop up the women's 4x100 meters. Chile, one of the surprise names there, their first ever qualification for World Championships in this event. some of the big names that you'd expect. Jamaica, of course, and the United States qualified yesterday. And added to that list today, China and Switzerland.
And our next event is getting ready on a track, and it is the men's 4x100 meters. We have 3 heats coming up, and that is the last time that any athletes tonight can qualify. Look at China go there. Oh, they're absolutely loving it. It's great to see a home win when the fans are so invested. We love to see it. Flags are waving. Hands are pumping. Voices are singing as the scene is set for the final chance to qualify for the men's 4x100 meters at Tokyo World Championships in September this year. 3 heats coming up. Top 2 qualify from each heat of this. And this is what the first heat looks like.
So on the outside, we have Korea in lane 9. We have Sho on the first leg, Namal Mahdi, and then Lee and Lee. In A to Switzerland, who finished 5th at the European Championships. Jonathan Gomez will lead them off. Rumenthaler, Lestrada, and Bachmann. Lane 7 of Ghana, who were just edged out of it yesterday. They've made 1 change to their team. They've replaced Sean Safo Antwi on the 3rd leg. They brought in Mustafa Bokbin in the centre of your picture there to run the 3rd leg. The rest of the team is the same as yesterday. France, they are strong, and they have the same quartet as yesterday. Pablo Mateo to Jeff Arius, Ryan Zeze, and Emeric Priam for France. The Olympic finalists, they were 3rd in this last year. Netherlands also field the same quartet, the European silver medalists. They were the fastest non-qualifiers yesterday with this quartet of Adigida, Burnett, Moajok, and Afrifa. And there'll be a good reception for Chinese Taipei. This is the only event in which they are entered here, and 3 of the team from, in fact, the whole team from yesterday, my apologies, line up again for Chinese Taipei. Qualification rules are slightly different in this men's 4x100 meters. I hope you're concentrating because only the top 2 qualify for Tokyo from these 3 heats of the men's 4x1. In, and the Netherlands have already gone by this point.
Yeah, the baton rules can be quite strict, can't they? And if Ghana hadn't have had that little fumble, imagine they might have beaten France.
Yeah, good contest in the end. Strong finish for Ghana by Ibrahim Fusini on the home straight, because Korea at this point were right up with them on the outside there. So Fusini, he did split 9.04 on that final leg, by the way. As you mentioned, it was an impressive clocking from him for what we can take from 4x1 splits. But fair play to Joseph Amoa of Ghana on the back straight, because he never looked fully in control of the baton for 3/4 of his leg. But as long as you keep hold of it, doesn't matter what you do with it. Hold it in both hands if you want. It's just keep hold of it.
Brilliant slow-mo shots here as France power to victory in heat 1 of 3 of the men's 4x100 meters here on day 2 of the World Athletics Relays in Guangzhou. This is the funnest time the World Athletics Relays has ever been in China. This is the 7th edition of the competition. Next year, we head to Botswana for it. Next year, of course, anything can happen. We're at the beginning of a new Olympic cycle now, and we've got the World Ultimate Championships coming up next year as well in September in Budapest. The World Athletics Ultimate Championships, where the ultimate champion will be crowned. It's all about bringing together the Olympic champions, the world champions, Diamond League winners, and the other best athletes in the world. Will this French team be there? We'll have to wait and see about that.
what is interesting about the World Athletics Ultimate Championship, by the way, is there's no restriction on the number of athletes from a certain country. So you could have 8 or 9 athletes from the same country. If they are the champions, the Olympic champions, the Diamond League champions that you speak of, or the top-ranked athletes, it's not like these championships or major champs where you can have 2, sometimes 3 from each team. So we're going to see the best of the best there. No restriction on countries. But Ghana, that's a great qualification from them. Benjamin Azamati is one of their stronger runners. He's not here. But as we look at the leg splits here, and that Ghanaian final split, as you mentioned, from Fusini down the low 9s, but it was Sio who got him off to a great start with that 10.23 out of the blocks. Chen, 8.49 down the back straight. Ghana, 9.28 while juggling a baton. Then Bokpin round the bend for them, 9.36. And 9.04 for Fusini on the last leg, the quickest. Again, if you weren't with us earlier on, a reminder, those splits, athletes take the baton in different positions within the takeover zone, so it's not an entire science there. But what you don't need any science to know is that a DNF next to your name in the shape of Netherlands and Switzerland is the worst possible result.
Yeah, and here we go. That was shots of some Jamaican fans, because this is heat 2 of 3 of the men's 4x100 meters World Championships qualifying round 2. 6 teams. This is how they line up. On the outside, we have got Paraguay, Wolk, Salazar, Maidana, and Almiron. Loving their kit, their casual ambiance of the Paraguayan team. Love it. Kenya, lane 8. Marisa Ominyalo, Babu, and Odihambo. They've been putting in some good performances so far this weekend. What can they do here? Top 2 qualify, remember? Lane 7, Colombia. Abello leads them out. Palacios, Agualimpia, Flores, and Gula will bring them home. Belgium, they've got to be favourites here alongside Jamaica. Van der Bendem leads them out, followed by Snyders. Vleminix and Verheustraten will anchor them home. Jamaica, they weren't in the Olympic final. They dropped the baton here yesterday. Rohan Watson leads them out, followed by Julian Forte. Johan Blake, second fastest man in the world ever on the 3rd leg, and Kashane Thompson, silver medalist in the 100 meters Paris Olympics. Can they get the baton around? Well, Denmark in lane 4. We try to chase them down. Jensen will lead them out. Charles Nielsen, Front, and Lovago will bring them home. Massive cheers in here for Jamaica, who have got to be the favourites, followed by Belgium. There are just 2 qualifying spots, though. And as we've seen, it doesn't matter how fast you are, but it does matter how you exchange that baton. So who's got it here in the 4x100 meters men's heat 2 of 3? Can Jamaica hold it together? With a team with the likes of Johan Blake and Kashane Thompson in it, you've got to fancy their chances. Just resetting here on the start line. Nerves are aplenty. Noises are plenty too. I think after China, Jamaica are absolutely the favourite team here in terms of popularity, for sure.
Exactly the same Jamaican team, Jess, that didn't get the baton round yesterday.
Let's see if that's a good thing or a bad thing. We don't have long to find out. Drama will undoubtedly unfold, and 2 of these teams will book their ticket to the World Champs. A World Champs without a Jamaican 4x100 meter men's team in it, though, would be quite a shock. And we're
Steve Odihambo coming down the home straight in 9.09. Kenyan sprinting, and I know they're very keen to, they've got obviously the name for distance running and road running, but the Kenyans are very, very keen that everybody continues to take them seriously. With the likes of Ferdinand Omanyala, the African record holder, who ran a brilliant back straight for them, flying the flag for Kenyan sprinting and using all these other guys to help him continue to raise the profile. Now, Kashane Thompson on the left there hasn't had the baton in his hand all weekend.
No, I know, and we did say, was it a good or bad omen? That it was the same quartet for Jamaica as yesterday, and it turned out to be a bad one. Really gutting for them. It has not been their weekend. I think Johan Blake and Kashane Thompson probably need to go do some laps, get out some of that energy that they hope to lay down on this track. Wasn't to be. Very solid from Belgium. And yeah, Kenya sprinters are coming stronger and stronger. Yeah, they're chuffing that national record as well. We are seeing some records be smashed here at the World Relays. We're at the beginning of the season, beginning of a new Olympic cycle. So season's best don't count for that much. But national records, they might have been standing for a very long time. And it's brilliant to see these athletes in form so early in the season. So let's have a look at those leg splits. Well, Paraguay, Walk had a sterling first one, 10.45. Leg 2, it was Snyder's for Belgium. That was exceptional from him. Belgium again have it for leg 3, the fastest split there. And it was Kenya with leg 4. He was coming back all along at 9.09. Right, this is the final heat in the men's 4x100 meters.
On the outside, Thailand, with Yamudom, Himaid, Kongprasit, and Boonson. Boonson, their strongest athlete on the anchor leg for them. Thailand, who last qualified in 2011 for the World Championships. Botswana, Matibi to lead them off, Mayana, Lobak Lamang, and Van Wyk, who've never qualified. Botswana in the men's 4x100 meters relay. Lane 7. The 2015 World Silver medalists, China. One of their athletes who ran in the heats, Xi, who's not running in this one, actually was part of that team. He ran yesterday, but he's not running here today, Xi. They've changed their team up, China. In lane 6 is Brazil. They have the same team as ran yesterday. Rocha Moraes, Dos Santos, Cardoso, and Felipe Bardi, the South American champion over 100 meters. Australia also have the same quartet. Lachlan Kennedy was one of the fastest starters yesterday out of the blocks. They've set an Oceania record this year. Australia, they were the world leaders coming into this as well. They have Joshua Atapadi, Christopher Hughes, and Prince Jackson. And finally, on the inside, we have Spain, who are running the same quartet as well. Alejandro Rueda, Juan Carlos Castillo, Adria Afonso, and Ricardo Sanchez. Spain on the inside complete the lineup. Their women's team qualified yesterday. Their men's 4x1 team roared on by the Spanish fans and amongst the Chinese locals here. It's heat 3 of 3 in the men's 4x100 meters, with only 2 automatic places up for grabs at the World Championships. It's now or never. Dynamics, if you like. If you're having to turn your shoulder, you want your hand out and trusting the athlete behind you to put that back in your hand. So Jackson, to be fair, wasn't fazed by it, looking up at the screen to check what was going on around him as he pursued heat all the way to the line. And for some of these athletes, particularly the Chinese athletes, this will be the biggest kind of athletes environment and home crowd that they have ever competed in, roared on by the home crowd. Celebrations for Zheng. And that is all of our World Championship qualifying rounds done, Jess. Everybody's places in Tokyo, the 14 teams who are booking their places in the World Championships. Everyone's done what they need to or what they can do. And now, as you can see, inside the stadium, as we prepare for our 5 remaining World Athletics finals, we have a spectacular light show.
We certainly do. This is absolutely brilliant. The fans loving it. They're getting the lights out on their phones. Look at the city of Guangzhou lit up spectacularly. These shots we're seeing are absolutely outstanding as the tension begins to build here in the Tianyi Stadium, Guangzhou. And the tension has been high as we've seen thrills and spills so far. And next, Coming up, the reason for this light show is because we're now at finals time. This means that all of these teams have already qualified for Tokyo World Championships later this year in September. So what they're racing for now is glory, money, and seeding at the World Championships in Tokyo. We have 8 teams taking part in the mixed 4x400 meters relay. But what we can see on the screen now is the qualified men's 4x100 meter teams who will definitely be going to Tokyo. Brilliant music, brilliant display here in the Tiani Stadium as athletes prepare to come out of the tunnel. As we see the Canton Tower, 600 meters tall, looking out over the largest city in southern China. The roars go up from the Chinese crowd here as we get ready to welcome the finalists of the mixed 4x400 meters relay here in Guangzhou for the World Athletics Relays 2025. Eight teams will compete. As we said, there's no jeopardy in terms of who's going to be going to Tokyo. They're all going there, but they're all going to be going there in style. Poland inside lane 2. They were 7th at the Olympics, and they were 3rd in their heat yesterday. Kenya, they were 3rd in their heat yesterday too. They come in lane 3. Next up, emerging through the tunnel, we see South Africa. They were 2nd in their heat yesterday. All smiles to the South African team. Brilliant, enjoying their moment in this brilliant stadium. In lane 5, they were 2nd in their heat. Australia take lane 5. Big squad here, wanting to do well. Beer has already run this evening. Let's see what she's got left in the tank. And United States. They were silver medalists at Paris Olympics. They are the favourites here. What can they do from lane 6? Great Britain take to the stage next. They will go in lane 7. They took the bronze medal at Paris behind the Americans. What can they do here? Very different team from that. But here we go. Belgium also got a good shot of it in lane 8. They were 4th at Paris and they won their heat yesterday. They mean business. They're having a great night so far. And finally, out in lane 9, it's Ireland. They were 2nd in their heat yesterday. Different team as they put some of their other runners to make sure the women's team made it through earlier. We are using lanes 2 to 9. We, where possible, don't use the inside lane of lane 1 because it's a tighter bend, harder to run on. So we give the athletes the courtesy of running slightly further out, a little bit kinder to them. Here we go then, a tempo change in the Tiani Stadium as the men line up for the start of the mixed 4x400 meters. Testing the blocks there, Poland. And it goes man, woman, man, woman. If you're just joining us, welcome. You have got myself, Jess Silver, and Chris Temple here guiding you through day 2 of the World Athletics Relays.
If you're just joining us, where have you been? Where have you been for nearly 2 days? The Americans there just fixing up their blocks in case you're thinking, oh, Chris Robinson, he's already run today. It was Justin Robinson who ran earlier in a similarly cool pair of shades. So 2 Robinsons are the athletes preparing for the women's 4x100 meters there in the cool room. I can tell you, by the way, just while we've got this little build up towards our final coming, that Jamaica's 4x1 women's team, you can't quite see them there. They'll be a little bit further around the corner. It has Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price in it. It has Sharika Jackson in it. It has Natasha Morrison and Tina Clayton. It's a very, very powerful women's 4x1 Jamaican team who will be somewhere in and around there.
Stop it. That is naughty. That is a very tasty Jamaican team as well. There they are. That is Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, multi-Olympic medalist, gold medalist, world champion, everything, basically. And she's still going, and some. Can't wait to see her run again tonight. And Sharika Jackson in that team, reigning world champion in the 200 meters, but struggled with injury at Paris last year. So with the men going out as they did, the Jamaican team in the women's will be wanting to do one better. But back to the next event at hand.
Chris Robinson there, a 44.20 split yesterday out of the blocks for the USA, the world champions, the Olympic silver medalists. We haven't seen a lot of South Africa so far this evening. That's because most of their teams made it through to the finals. So they haven't needed any of the qualifications. In case you're thinking, where have South Africa been all night? They were so good yesterday. They haven't needed to turn up until these next 5 races. But Team Kulu will lead them off here, the African champions. And again, they will have a huge battle in the men's 4x100 meters final coming up a little bit later on as well. In fact, their men's 4x14 ran very well yesterday as well. China still have hopes to come this evening. They have a final. The local fans here will know that China are still to line up in one of our closing events. In fact, the closing event for the Chinese fans will be the men's 4x4 final. And it's the kind of thing lots of young fans in tonight as well. We're not too late. It's 9 o'clock local time here. So we've got another 40 minutes or so of action to come here. So the athletes providing the entertainment, hopefully hooking a few into this amazing sport as well, Jess, with all the amazing innovations happening at the moment across the sport, including the World Athletics Ultimate Championship next year as well, where we'll see lots of different things.
Here's the Great Britain team lining up. Yep, and China will be hosting the World Championships in Beijing in 2027. And at the moment, we heard in the press conference, President of World Athletics Seb Coe say that athletics is currently the 9th most popular sport for Chinese children. They want to get it to 5th most popular. Why isn't it that already, hey? Well, events like this really do help it. And it's evening here in Guangzhou, and we are ready for the mixed 4x400 meters relay final. This is how we line up. Lane 9, Ireland. Raftery, Healy, Keane and Cadden. It goes man, woman, man, woman. No choices in that. They were second in their heat yesterday. Some big Irish fans in the house. Belgium, lane 8. Watrin, Hansons, Mabil and Damaras. Lane 7, the bronze Olympic medalists. Not quite this team, but in this one goes Lunt, Malik, Swift and Kelly. What can they do here tonight? They are favourites next to United States of America in lane 6. Cheers go up in the arena. Robinson, Okolo, Blockberger and Irby Jackson, who was exceptional yesterday. They are the Paris silver medalists. They are the ones to beat. Australia, lane 5. Van Rantingen, Beer, Thorne and Bull. Beer's having a busy night. They were second in their heat yesterday. What can they do tonight from lane 5? Here we go, South Africa having a brilliant weekend so far. They were second in their heat yesterday. Muthen Makulu will lead them out, followed by Van Staden, Shezi and Van Niekerk. Finalizes the South African quartet. And Kenya, what can they do from lane 3? Caparante, Chebet, Tenega and Okech in this man-woman formation for Kenya. Lane 2, 7th at the Olympics, 3rd in their heat yesterday. It is Poland. Kidreski, Bartonowska, Sołtysiak and Losowska is the Polish quartet. Deep breath there. The scene is set. The 8 teams are ready. Nerves aplenty. Glory is up for grabs here. All these teams are going to the World Championships. But which will go there as the World Athletics Relay Champions? All teams wait nervously there in the pen as we start the mixed 4x400 meters in a stagger. Poland 2, Kenya 3, South Africa 4, Australia 5, USA 6, Great Britain 7, Belgium 8, and in 4th place. Woo! And we are off with the finals. And there you have it. USA World Athletics Relays Champions. Kenya, season's best. Oh, and an oceanic record for Australia. They're going to be chuffed with that.
It's a second Oceania record of the weekend for Australia. In fact, they set one yesterday, and they've just beaten it again by 14 100ths of a second. USA, the big favourites in that race, with a strong team, a loaded team, and comfortable winners. But what a performance from Kenya. Mercy Chebet, by the way, and Mercy Okech have had quite the weekend. They've run in nearly everything. As Team Australia celebrate quite rightly some of the athletes who were here running a little bit earlier on, now up there supporting. And of course, not only the Oceania record, a silver medal as well, but $40,000 to the winner, and the small matter of $20,000 to the Australians for coming second. Kenya get $10,000 as well. And the USA celebrate the fastest time we've seen here at the World Athletics Relays with that 3:09.54.
Yeah, brilliant run from there, and brilliant run from the Kenyans. What you were saying earlier, Chris, about them not just being known for their long distances, they are really showing up on the global stage of sprinting right now as well.
And they have a 2019 bronze medal already at the World Athletics Relays in this event. That is their second bronze medal in the last few editions of this. And no wonder they are smiling. Mercy Chebet, I'm not surprised she needs a bit of help to stay upright. She really has, but she ran the second leg and she's still recovering there now. She's put it all in. And what a great bronze medal for Kenya. That will be celebrated very well, I'm sure. A great performance earlier on as well from the Kenyan 4x100 meters men's team. Just looking at some of the splits for the Australians. Ellie Beer 50.33, Terrell Thorne 45.50, Luke Van Rattigan out of the gate with 45.1 for them in second place. The Americans, well, Chris Robinson again, very impressive, 44.97 out of the blocks. Johnny Blockberger 44.16, it's a brilliantly judged leg from him as well down the back straight. Poppy Malik was the fastest of the British pair of female athletes, 50.60 for one of their more inexperienced British relay runners. But at the moment, the team changes that Great Britain and Northern Ireland made, unfortunately putting their stronger athletes elsewhere, meant that they weren't able to quite compete as they would have liked to do in this mixed 4x4. But great experience for the likes of Sam Lunt on his debut out here, and for Poppy Malik and Bailey Swift in that quartet as well. And for Ireland, well, again, they had plenty to do. They did have quite a bit of experience, actually, in that team with the likes of Phil Healy and Lauren Cadden. Several major championships between them. But again, prioritising other events in World Championship qualification. So that's the first of our 5 finals that remain. Remember, we had the mixed 4x100 meters final a little bit earlier on. This is a look at the camera, by the way, going down the back straight. The gimbal. It's one of our cameramen. I've forgotten his name now, but he's rather he does that job than I do this one, to be honest with you.
It does look quite fun, though, doesn't it? Full of jeopardy. Full of fun. The camera work here, the shots we are being shown are outstanding. The level of athletics that is being shown across the world right now. I mean, athletics really is in a brilliant place off the back of an exceptional Olympics. All eyes on Tokyo later this year. Then the ultimate championships next year. Oh, it really is an exciting time. Superstars left, right and centre. But what we love about the relays at this time of year is it's the start of the season. It's a chance to see who's been quite busy in the off-season, you know, who's put the work in, and a chance to try out maybe some younger athletes. We heard with the Chinese team, they're going through a transition at the moment, phasing out some of their more mature athletes and bringing in some youth, and it's a really good opportunity for that. And it's really brilliant to see. Absolutely outstanding there from USA. Easy as you like it. She's had a great weekend. And yeah, wow.
It was funny, just off the shot as the Australian team, as Bull was, by the way, that's Bull's second leg of the night as well. So you can wonder why she's looking a little bit tired coming down that home straight, keeping her eye on the screen to make sure she knew that there was only going to be a threat from Kenya and nobody else. In fact, Mercy Chebet there, she was listed to run the second leg and ended up running the anchor, didn't she? So some of the teams have been, we get the team declarations very late anyway, but some of those have been changed at the last minute as well from what has been officially submitted. But Bull just out of shot were her teammates who were encroaching further and further onto the outside of the track, the nearer she got to the finish line, with their arms in the air, jumping, roaring her on. And the Americans with Lynette Irby Jackson. There you go. Ellie Beer, second leg of the night for her as well. and a medal to take home to Australia. As you say, one of the more local journeys here, something like 9 or 10 hours to Australia from here by flight, which is relatively local.
Yeah, they'll be absolutely chuffed with that. Really great weekend out for that Australian team. Oh, Chebet. Oh, she looks how I feel at the end of this commentary.
It makes more sense now how tired she was looking when she ran the anchor and not the second leg as she was listed for. But there's the Kenyan team and some of their supporters and coaches. And Ellie Beer is absolutely delighted with her silver medal. Lovely medals as well here at the World Athletics Relays in Guangzhou 25. As you mentioned, Jess, a big series of events here. Of course, the 2 Diamond Leagues have just gone past in Xiamen and in Shanghai as well. The World Championships here in Beijing in 2027. The World Indoors were in Nanjing. A few hours flight away from here, where a lot of these, not a lot of these athletes, but some of them are there. Confirmation of that championship record for the United States, the fastest time we've ever seen in the World Relays in this event. Another Oceania record for Australia, their second of the weekend, and Kenya, another bronze for them after the 2019 repeat. So 4 finals to go. We're into 4x1 territory next. That is the South African men's 4x1, which will be the event after this one. So they are in the cool room at the moment.
Yeah, that's set to be a really spicy heat. But we've got another one coming up first. And again, it's for glory. It's for money here at the World Relays. And it's for seeding. Because when it comes to the World Athletics in Tokyo later this year, they want to be in as good as heat as possible.
Here are the teams then from the outside, and it's a change to the British team. We saw Ashley Phillip run earlier on in the mixed 4x1. Well, Naya Wedderburn-Goodison, who led that quartet off yesterday, is tasked with the first leg in this. They've also brought in Success Edouan on the final leg as well. Hunton Williams ran legs 2 and 3 yesterday. And here is Edouan, who comes in for Desiree Henry on the anchor leg. In 5 are Belgium, who last qualified for the World Championships in 2009. It's their same team from the first round yesterday. Rani Vinker, Rani Rossius, who again had a great indoor season. Lynn Torfs and Delphine and Kanza ran a storming anchor yesterday to come past Great Britain in their heat. They were disqualified in the Olympics. Again, looking to end on a high. Canada was 6th in the Olympic final. They make one change to their team. They bring in Jacqueline Madogo, who ran earlier on actually in the mixed race, as did Marie-Eloise Leclerc, and Audrey Leduc will anchor them home. The Olympic bronze medalists Germany are in 3. Sophia Junk to lead them off, handing on to Nella Jaworski, Jessica Bianca Vesely, and Rebecca Haase, who anchored them home to Olympic bronze, anchors them here in China. And on the inside are the Netherlands, the European bronze medalists with the same team as yesterday. And Van der Wiel on the opening leg, Mariah van Hoenenstein on the second leg. To Minka Bishops and to one of the up-and-coming youngsters, Britt de Blauw. Last time they went to the World Championships, they didn't get the baton round. World Athletics Relays Women's 4x100 meters final. $40,000. The title of champions. The USA are the defending champions. They're the Olympic champions. Listed as the winners, but Spain coming home in second place. What an unbelievable run here in the arena. But it will eventually get corrected. They're looking around at the moment going, what's that all about? What a last 80 meters that was.
I mean, that was absolutely outstanding. Oh, I mean, what more can you want from a championship? Spain beside themselves. They are having the weekend of their lives. Sharika Jackson there, not so much. Not having the time of her life. But Spain, I mean, can it get any better for them? They absolutely loved it. They have been outstanding all weekend. We're going to wait for 100% confirmation there. Pretty sure that was Great Britain crossing the line in first. But let's see what happened with second, third, and fourth. Amy Hunt there. She was 5th at the indoor 60 meters earlier this year, having an outstanding season. Tina Clayton had a good run there. Pretty solid on the exchanges, but I'd like to see some replays of those.
Well, just to say you're not missing anything here because we don't have any information on the result system. I think it is finally coming through now as we see the teams in the arena being coming in for the next race. but it is now coming up on the computer, confirmed that Great Britain and Northern Ireland have won. There you go. That is the correct result. Great Britain and Northern Ireland with two relatively untried youngsters on the opening and anchor legs there with the experience in the middle. What a fantastic victory that is for them. Running down, holding off Sharika Jackson in the home straight. And a word for Spain, by the way, who, again, have beaten Jamaica and the United States.
I know. With, you know, they had some big names in there, Jamaica and the USA, with Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price. And then, oh, my goodness, I mean, Spain, wow. Silver medalists here at the World Athletics Relays. Absolutely exceptional.
Well, these finals, I mean, we might have been talking about World Championship places for a lot of the time, but you can see what it meant there to the teams who had success. I mean, that is such a massive result for not only for Great Britain, they've had medal success, but for Spain to fit. And we're not talking Jamaica second, third, fourth string teams here. The United States second, third, fourth string teams. That's Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, who's got a bag full of world champions.
So we're going to take this one. And Spain, look at this. Look at the power from these athletes. And that exchange there wasn't actually that's 100% smooth for Spain. Look at Perez, though, down this home straight. And keep an eye on the left-hand side of your screen with Edouin, who just stays calm, has it, accelerates. Perez just about passes her as we go across the line. Oh, torso over first. Great Britain, thank you very much.
States.
Exceptional, exceptional racing. TT Terry didn't quite have enough in that final leg. They had a stormer yesterday, but it wasn't to be USA tonight. They are the Olympic champions in the 4x100 meters, but they're going to have to settle for fourth place here at the World Athletics Relays. Spain, though, hello to a new team in the mixed in sprinting. Absolutely gutting. I mean, if a picture says 1,000 words, Sharika Jackson's face there says it all.
Yeah, and there is the Spanish success. Yeah, and it's not often in 4x1s that you're talking about, you know, the European athletes, and you know there'll be inquests being held again in Jamaica and US, and I guess it's back to the drawing board on a few things for both of those countries, but certainly the Spanish drawing board, they've been painting very, very...
Nothing to take away from this team here, who can't quite believe it, to be honest, can they? Well, for these women, it really has been brilliant. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, though, she's taking that bronze medal, adding it to her collection. You know, she seems happy enough with that. She really is a superstar in more ways than one. If you haven't seen it already, the footage of her storming her son's school sports days, 100 meters, is really worth a watch across social media. But here we go. Here is the confirmation of the women's 4x100 meter relay final. Great Britain take first place, Spain second, Jamaica third, and the Olympic champions down in fourth. A national record, though, for the Canadians. Belgium came in sixth, Netherlands seven, and it was a do not finish for Germany.
We have...
And of course, the Olympic reigning champions in Canada in lane 4 have got to be in with a very good shout. Here we go then. Men's 4x100 meter final here at the World Athletics Relays, Guangzhou 2025. Oh, and it is a false start. We're going to wait and see what our computer screen says, but someone, it may seem, may have gone early. It's all about reaction times when it comes to a full start. Let's take a look here. If they're too early, ooh, it looks like it could be Japanese or South Africa potentially.
There's like a little movement from Balaza of South Africa. He stayed in the blocks, but there was ever such a slight movement there. That's where the camera has gone at the moment, but we'll wait and see for the starter's decision here.
Oh, you can see on your screen, South Africa, they are under the threshold for reaction time. It looks like they've got a red mark against their name. Let's wait and see. confirmation.
And the minus figure means there they've gone ahead of the gun. 0.1 is the allowed limit. Let's see what the officials are going to do here. Well, Laza, the youngster, the world under-20 champion. It's actually a green card, so good news for South Africa and everybody else that we have everybody staying in.
Very good news indeed. No one likes to see a team go out of a false start. Here we go again then. Second in there. He's looking strong, but Simbini just gets into his flow. Absolutely beautiful. Cool as you like it. There's the line. Thank you very much. Looks across at Hicklin as he comes across as well. Very.
And if Simbini is the one who's been around for many years at the top level, as we see the frustration from the Great Britain team, Bayanda Laza, that is a name that you should have in your notebook if it's not already, the double world under-20 champion. Some great battles with Gout of Australia, who's going to be appearing on the Diamond League circuit coming up in the next few weeks as well. What an exciting talent they are, and what a man to learn from for the guy at the front of your shot there, Laza, and the rest of the team, of course, as well. But when you've got Simbini, who's spoken all about the team camaraderie leading into this and how it's such an important part of it. Team camaraderie has clicked pretty well for Canada down the years, the Olympic champions, who weren't that impressive yesterday, and I read some quotes from them saying we've just got to clean a few things up and we'll come out and perform tomorrow. Well, as we just saw from that replay a moment ago, from the Brown to Blake change, not that clean today, but still with a medal around their neck.
Yeah, and those smooth changes really can make all the difference. You can be the fastest team on paper, but if that exchange is not on point, then you're not going to get that medal, not when the field is as stacked as this, with this many brilliant world-class athletes taking part. Canada will be somewhat disappointed, though, I think, what could have been if there had been a smoother changeover, but they're still Olympic champions. We're still at the start of the season, and all of those teams are off to Tokyo later this year for the World Championships.
The Chinese fans here in Guangzhou in the China Stadium on day 2, coming towards the close of the program. 2 more finals, 2 more World Athletics Relays finals on the way. This just says where the athletes or the teams have already qualified for the World Championships in Tokyo in September. And now it's all about the lane seeding. And when we talk about lane seeding, it means that the better teams here, so the winners will be separated in the heats there. You wouldn't have quite such strong opposition to run against in the early rounds of the relays at the World Championships. That's what we talk about when we talk about lane seedings. Confirmation of that win for South Africa, led home by Akani Simbini, overhauling United States in the closing stages, with the Olympic champions Canada taking the bronze.
It really has been a brilliant couple of days so far. 2 more finals coming up. We've been absolutely loving it, guiding you through proceedings here at the Tianyi Stadium in Guangzhou. That is the Canton Tower, and this is the women's 4x400 meter final.
And we meet first of all on the outside, Germany, who have had some illness problems in their camp. A couple of their team were laid up for over a week with illness, couldn't train, but still perform well. It's the 2 of the team, Shi and Maya, from the opening round. As we see South Africa, who have 3 of the team. They've brought in Miranda Kurtzea there on the second leg, who's the African champion over 400 meters. Zene van der Walt anchored South Africa home to 2 World Championship qualifications yesterday, the 400 hurdler. France in lane 7. They've made a couple of team changes and a bit of a shake-up of the order as well. Emma Montoya will lead them off, having run the 3rd leg yesterday. There's the French Supporters Club. The United States, the Olympic champions, are in lane 6. It's the same quartet, the World Indoor champions, the defending champions as well, but they've shaken up the order as well. Paris Peoples will lead them off. She ran the 3rd leg yesterday. With Bailey Lear, the World Indoor gold medalist in the relay, will bring them home. Spain, Power Sevilla. You may be thinking, Power Sevilla on the left, I've just seen her. You're right, she just ran in the 4x1. That 2nd place finish, she's back out again. The rest of the Spanish team is the same one who ran very well yesterday. They all split in the 51s. Italy are in lane 4, same quartet. Sorry, 1 change, in fact, to the quartet. Mangione has been replaced by Borgia on the final leg in terms of the team that ran yesterday and qualified. There's the rest of Italy. Norway in 3. Only the 3rd time they've qualified for the World Championships. They're into this final as one of the 2 time qualifiers, and they will run the same quartet as well. They've got the hurdler Amelie Yu on the 2nd leg, and the World Indoor bronze medalist Henrietta Jaeger on the anchor. She ran 49.79 split yesterday, the only athlete to break 50. And Canada, who took the bronze medal last year, and they've got a couple of athletes who were also in action in the mixed race earlier on, Gale and Shearer. They'll be led off on the opening leg, Canada, by Misha Powell this time. So our penultimate final here in Guangzhou, the World Athletics Relays 2025, is the women's 4x400 meters. The USA are the Olympic champions and the defending champions. Spain are on the crest of a wave. Oh, the full start bug is catching. We have another recall. Don't get them so often in 4x4s. You obviously get them on 4x1s when every 100th of a second is crucial, as it is, of course, in 4x4s. But athletes tend to be a little bit more conservative in the blocks when you've got another 399 meters there or thereabouts to make up for any sluggishness in the blocks. So let's wait and see what happens when we see a replay here. It may just be there's a bit of noise around, there's some enthusiasm amongst the fans around the stadium as well. And sometimes there's a bit of noise that could have been distracting. The starter will recall it. Let's have a little look here to see if we can see anything with the naked eye. Not easy to see there, is it, either with the athletes spread right around the corner, but let's see what the officials say here. As you can see, the graphics showing up as Canada. Here come the officials. In fact, that's not an official, that's the timing official. So it's a green card, so Canada are okay. They're just coming to reset the timing mechanism on the blocks there. So no fault of Canada and their lead runner, Misha Powell, on the inside. And once again, as per the last race, it's a faulty start, if you like. No one at fault, and we go again. The women's 4x400 meters World Athletics Relays final. Right on the outside, Germany, South Africa, France, USA there with Peoples, Spain, Italy, Norway on the inside, Canada. Norway, the 400-meter hurdler as well, in fourth position, as the athletes fan out and prepare with the USA, South Africa and Spain in the medal positions.
Third leg of the women's 4x4 here, and it is as close as you like. Look at that determination from Mara of Germany there. And goodness me, at the front then, it is USA, Singletary holding firm. Fra of Spain having a brilliant run. The Spaniards so far tonight, the women have been absolutely outstanding. South Africa in third place there, Malepo. And look at what's coming behind. You've got France, Italy, so close, and Norway all fighting it out there. So we've got USA 1, Spain 2, South Africa 3. Woof, this is tasty indeed. And look at Malepo. Looks like she's about to make a move. Singletree just looks to the screen to see how close Fra of Spain is coming as we come down the home straight, going in to the fourth leg. The crowd are going mad for Fra of Spain. What a run by her and the Spaniards.
There's absolutely no stopping Spain at the moment. They are riding high. Bianca Hervas takes the baton for them as all the countries just negotiate the traffic through that final changeover. Hervas in pursuit, Bailey Lear of the USA, who ran a very fine anchor leg yesterday. Zene van der Velde, who ran 2 good legs for South Africa, the 400-meter hurdler, pursuing Spain now again, measuring their effort. It's important that Hervas doesn't panic here with the US athlete going past. 200 meters to go. Jaeger, just out of shot for Norway, is storming forward as well, trying to bridge the gap to those leading 3. The USA, and here comes Spain again. A second bite of the cherry for Bianca Hervas, who did stay calm, but now Bailey Lear tries to put her foot on the accelerator. She can't quite shake off Spain just at the moment, and now Hervas rallies her challenge, and the USA are under pressure, and it's Spain again. Spain reigning Guangzhou once more. Another unbelievable performance from the Spanish quartet, who become the World Athletics Relay champions. From the USA, and South Africa take the bronze. Is there anything this Spanish squad here in China cannot do? What a fantastic run.
Wow. I have no words for the Spanish women's teams right now. That was absolutely outstanding. South Africa, they're absolutely overjoyed as well. They've got a national record, as have Norway. And a season's best coming in for Italy. I mean, exceptional. Someone needs to give these athletes a raise. I mean, the Spanish women's team have run out of their skin this weekend. Other members of the team going to meet them. They can barely believe it.
You notice there's only 3 members of the team coming to greet them. That's because one of them ran in the race. Incredible from Power Sevilla, who's just won, what does she win? $20,000 for second place. Just won another $40,000 for first place for Spain as the USA charge off. And another upset involving the USA. And another one involving Spain finishing ahead of the USA again. National record for Norway. Again, no thanks in small part to Henrietta Jaeger. Sub-50 run from her again, 49.71 on the anchor leg for them. Couldn't quite get them into the medals, but a national record. But South Africa, 2 medals in the space of 10 minutes.
Indeed, indeed. You can see what it means to them. And this is why the World Relays is so brilliant. Look at the emotion, the joy, the ecstasy from the women's Spanish team. They are ecstatic. I want to be wherever their hotel is tonight for a bit of a party. Look, medals galore. They're coming, Spain. If this is them at the start of the season, what are they going to be like come Worlds?
Well, the squad lining up. Just brilliant, absolutely brilliant for them. Well, celebrating their moment. Just doing a quick count up there. Yeah, there is only 7. I thought for a minute there was 8. Paula Sevilla, double money, double bubble. As we see the shots of what was another thriller. I tell you what, I mean, if you thought the pressure was off or these finals didn't count or whatever, think again from what we've seen. I mean, we knew that these athletes would be coming out and national pride and personal performance, obviously prize money, the prestige of a medal, etc., all these other things that go with it, and professionalism, which they all are. You don't get loads of chances to run as a national team and to perfect team tactics, particularly in this. I'm just so impressed on that final leg, which we'll see in a minute, from the calmness shown by Bianca Hervas, who, when the USA went past, didn't start to panic, just knew what she had in her legs, and she knew that if I've got enough. I think I've got enough to win. And stayed calm.
It's just so important that athletes have the chance to perform on such a global stage against others from around the world. And you can tell that, performances, world-class, exceptional performances come out at moments like this. This leg from Fra was outside of the acceleration she had. Where did she get it from, hey? Where did it come from?
And it's the judgment you see there. Spain have again finished that leg really strongly. The USA are tied up, and exactly the same happened here, where Hervas saved a little bit. Leah, when Leah went to the front here, I've no doubt in her mind she thought, we're away, we're going to win. I don't worry about what's behind me. I'm fast enough to win this. And then Leah here, all of a sudden, the legs went. And Hervas would have sensed that. She'll have seen the flailing arms from Bailey Leah. And Van der Vault was probably thinking, I can get her as well for silver here.
If she kept her eyes open, she would have thought it anyway. Really exceptional. Oh, the pain, the anguish, the joy that comes with sprinting, that comes with relays. You can see Shera in the background for Canada. And this is the one opportunity where these athletes who compete all year round individually against their teammates come together as a team. And that's what it means. Look at the smile on Hervas's face. Oh, we've got one more event coming up. Tears, hugs, joy and sadness. Oh, they can't believe it. The emotions running through the women's team at the moment from Spain is just, I mean, I don't think they expected any of this, did they?
Well, that's the ones watching. They can't contain themselves, let alone the ones who actually ran. It's such a proud moment for Spain. It's a long way from Europe to here, and they've obviously been working very, very well behind the scenes. And it's all coming together for them, and they are going to be big contenders when it comes to the World Championship, albeit at the start of a long season. We're in May, and the World Championships are in September, and you hear that a lot from people to say you've got to sustain it all the way through. A multitude of national records at the top end of the women's 4x4, but another upset as the United States, the Olympic champions, were beaten by Spain, who continued their fine weekend, and South Africa also rewarded with a national record as they take the bronze.
And here we go then, the final event of the World Athletics Relays, Guangzhou 2025, men's 4x4 100-meter relay. Great Britain go in the outside lane 9, Toby Harries, Efekomo Okoro, Joshua Folds and Rio Mitchum. Belgium are next to them. They were 4th at the Paris Olympics, whereas Great Britain were bronze. Secure, Van der Bendum, Seggers and Dum. South Africa take lane 7. They were in more ways than one. And look, Botswana, South Africa, really exceptional running there as we do this exchange. Look at the intent on their faces. Oh, it was so close.
And it was actually the end of that leg. Here's
certainly did. And here we see Nene, cool as you like, looking in control, looking relaxed, shoulders not hunched. Beautiful running style as he comes down that home straight. He never looks like there was any trouble going on at all. Didn't care what was going on behind him. Scotch from Botswana really reaching. And look at the tall figure of Dome on the left-hand side.
Of disappointment for the Jamaican team, but we're going to be talking about it in a future video. Guys, remember to like the video and to subscribe to the channel as we continue to spread our sports, our love for sports across the world. So please remember, subscribe.
They really have. Oh, brilliant from them.
Shirley McIlvery, that's a great cackle. It's the soundtrack it should be for South Africa as well. Laza, again, that will be the start of I imagine a big collection probably of senior medals for him to add to the medals he's won at junior championships as well. Belgians look pretty happy as well. Sakur and Van der Bende and Alexander Dome have won many major medals between them before. And the Botswanans, as you said, we've talked a lot about those who aren't here, but the ones who are here. The next hosts, of course, of the World Athletics Relays in Gaborone this time next year, Botswana. Looking forward to that one. And they go home with a medal as well. This time, for them, it's bronze compared to gold last year.
And here it is then, official confirmation of the results of the men's 4x400 meter relay. World leading time from South Africa there, 2:57.5. Belgium in second with the season's best. Botswana in third. France in fourth. Kenya setting a national record. They'll be happy with that. Great Britain in sixth. Portugal seventh. And China in eighth. Really brilliant note. All of those teams we will see at the World Championships in Tokyo later this year. What a couple of days. Guangzhou World Athletics Relays 2025 has not disappointed. We have absolutely loved bringing you all the action live from the Tiani Stadium. It's been hot, it's been humid, there's been thrills, there's been spills, but it's been an absolute
So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Big up to all the Guyanese, Abby, Star, and all of you viewers. A lot of interesting results we saw. A lot of surprises. Shelley and Fraser Price and Sherika Jackson beaten into third place in their relay. The Jamaican men, Fort got injured, so the baton didn't go around. And it was just a big mess for Jamaica. We didn't even see Bahamas. Not sure what happened to the Bahamas, but they probably didn't show up at all. And, I think India, South Africa, and especially Spain, they had like a really good championship. China as well did very well, but watch out for Spain, guys. They're the rising stars. Anyway, happy Sunday. Until next time.